Hi students, this is money supply. That is, money supply means the total quantity of money in an economy. It refers to the amount of money that is in circulation at a given point of time. So this money supply, it plays a crucial role in determining the price level and the interest rates in the economy. When money supply is measured at a point of time, when it is viewed at a point of time, it is a stock. When it is viewed over a period of time, it is flow. Now we will go to the meaning of money supply. The Reserve Bank of India, in India, the central bank, the Reserve Bank of India issues the currency, and the coins are issued by the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Besides these, the saving accounts and the current accounts that are kept in the banks by the public is also called money. This is the total quantity of money in an economy. Now this RBI publishes different forms of money supply. That is, it supplies in 4 different forms. That is M1. M1 stands for the currency, coins and all the demand deposits. And M2 stands for M1 plus saving deposits with the post office saving banks. And M3 stands for M2 plus time deposits of all commercial banks and the cooperative banks. And this M4 stands for M3 plus total deposits with the post offices. These are the 4 different forms of money supply published by the Reserve Bank of India. Among this, M1 and M2 are narrow money and M3 and M4 are broad money. So the gradation is given according to the liquidity. Now we will go to the determinants of money supply. That is currency deposit ratio, reserve deposit ratio, cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. So what is this currency deposit ratio? It is the total currency held in the hands of the public to that they hold in bank deposits. So it is the ratio between the currency that is held in the hands of the public to that they hold in bank deposits. And what is this reserve deposit ratio? It is otherwise called reserve money. That is, 2 things are included in this. That is wall cash in the bank, all the cash, wall cash in the bank, and deposits of commercial banks with the RBI. It is reserve deposit ratio. That is wall cash in bank and deposits of commercial banks with the RBI. Cash reserve ratio, it is a fraction of deposit of the banks that must be kept with the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India will give certain ratio that has to be kept with the Reserve Bank of India, that all commercial banks have to keep a certain ratio of money. That fraction of deposit the banks must keep with the Reserve Bank of India is called cash reserve ratio. And statutory liquidity ratio, it is a fraction of the total demand and time deposits. It is the fraction of the total demand and time deposits of the commercial banks in the form of specified liquid assets. Students, now we will go to quantity theories of money. In that, now we will see only transaction approach that is given by Irving Fisher. That is Fisher's transaction approach. So this quantity theories of money explains the relationship between quantities of money and the value of money. The amount of money in circulation and the value of money in an economy, that is explained in this theories, quantity theories of money. This quantity theories of money is very old one that has been explained in 1588 itself by an Italian economist, Davanchetti. But the credit goes to Irving Fisher, and who has published his book Purchasing Power of Money in 1911. So he has explained his theory, quantity theory of money, in the quantitative form of exchange, that is nothing but equation of exchange he has given. He has given one equation of exchange, that is nothing but MV is equal to PT. MV is equal to PT, that is the total supply of money in an economy is equal to the total demand for money in an economy. MV stands for supply of money and PT stands for total demand for money. The total quantity of money that is in circulation is equal to the total value of goods and services bought and sold in an economy. So the total quantity of money that is in circulation is equal to the total volume of goods and services bought and sold in the economy. So demand for money is equal to supply of money. In this MV is equal to PT, M stands for money supply or quantity of money. V stands for velocity of money, that is how many times the money gets circulated in the economy. P stands for price level and T stands for volume of transaction, that is or it is amount of transaction, that is nothing but a total trade of goods and services. How many times the goods and services are bought and sold, that is T. Now I will explain this MV is equal to PT by an example that is not given in the book. Listen the example, then you can understand this transaction theory of Fisher's. Students, now we will see the transaction approach by a numerical example. That is, let us suppose that in an economy only one commodity is produced, that is only wheat alone is produced. See, why do I explain to you this numerical example? That is for understanding inflation that we are going to study further. If you understand this quantity theory of money very well, you can easily understand inflation and deflation. So this numerical example, listen carefully. That is, let us suppose this wheat alone is produced in the economy. That is 2000 quintals of wheat is produced in the economy. 2000 quintals of wheat is produced in an economy in a given period of time, maybe 1 year, in a year. Okay, yes. So now the total supply of money by the central government in India, Reserve Bank of India, is only rupees 25,000. Yes, 2000 quintals of wheat alone is produced in an economy per year, and total supply of money in that year is rupees 25,000, that is by Reserve Bank of India. And now we suppose rupee 1 is exchanged 4 times in a year. How many times it is exchanged? 4 times in a year. Now we will find out what is the price of that commodity also we can find out. So we can find out whether this transaction approach easily explains quantity theory of money. So what is the equation? MV is equal to PT. What is the quantity of money? It is 25,000. What is the velocity? 4 times it gets. So how much it is? 1 lakh. What is the value of money now? It is 1 lakh. So what is the price of the commodity? We can find out from this equation. If MV is equal to PT, then what is P? P is equal to MV by T. So now M into V we have found out. What is the velocity? 4 times. What is the total quantity of money supplied? It is 25,000. So totally how much is there? 1 lakh is there. So what is the price of wheat per quintal? How many quintals are produced? 2000 quintals are produced. So 1 lakh divided by 2000. It is equal to what? 50 rupees per quintal. Rupees 50 per quintal. Now suppose, this is first point. Remember, this is first example. I will tell you a second one, that is if the government doubles the supply of money. Okay, This is 25,000. It is supply of money, quantity of money in the economy. 1 rupee is circulated 4 times. All are assumptions. We assume 1 rupee is gets in circulation only 4 times. Now the government doubles this supply of money to, doubles means rupees, doubling of 25,000 is 50,000. Tripling is what? Tripling is what? 75,000. Yes. Now if it is doubled, 50,000. 50,000 into 4. How much it is? That is 50,000 into 4. I will write the second point. 50,000 into 4. This is for first, this is for second. 2 lakhs. Then now what is the price of wheat per quintal? This is 2 lakhs divided by 2,000. What is the price of wheat? Now it is rupees 100. Now this one is tripled. First it has issued 25,000. The supply of money issued by the Reserve Bank of India is 25,000. If that is the case, the price of wheat is 50 rupees. When it is doubled, price has been doubled. Okay, when it is tripled, so what will happen? 75,000 into 4. How much? 3 lakhs. Okay, what is the price of per quintal of wheat? 3 lakhs divided by 2,000 is equal to, what is the price per quintal? It is 150. Say, listen, when the quantity of money is increased, first it has been supplied 25,000, when it has been increased to 50,000, and when it has been increased by 75,000, what happens to the price level? Price level also increases. When the quantity of money is doubled and the price level is doubled. When the quantity of money is tripled, price level is tripled. That means what? Price is in, it has direct relation with the quantity of money. So from this equation MV is equal to PT, we can find out P is equal to MV by T, isn't it? When B and T remain constant, then the price of any commodity is equal to the quantity of money supplied in the economy. So this MV is equal to PT only if there is only currency, isn't it? So nowadays we cannot expect that only currency money flows in the economy, and the bank's money is also there in the form of check and everything. That is given M dash V dash. P is equal to MV by T only if we take into consideration the currency. So if we add bank money, then it is MV plus M dash P dash divided by T. This M dash P dash stands for, this M dash stands for the quantity of money that is other than currency, all the different forms of money. V dash stands for the velocity of that money. This. Now I will tell you to know this value of money, that is how does it to understand how does this value of money is changed. So I'll give you one example, that is in a farm there is a grandfather, he has 2 grandsons, grandson A and grandson B. So he wants to sell the tender coconuts in the market. He has 20 tender coconuts and he gives to each son 10 coconuts and each costing 10 rupees. So he asks these grandsons to go and sell this in the market. The market is far away from their village. So they take 10 tender coconuts with them and go to the market. So on their way, what happens? They feel thirsty. Son A feels thirsty. So he searches for money and there is only one 10 rupee note in his packet. So what does he do? And he gives that 10 rupees to B and buy one tender coconut from him and he drinks it. So in the meantime, what happened? He praises about the quality of the tender coconuts. It's very tasty and it is very tender and everything he says. So what happened? Son B is also tempted to buy one. So now he has 10 rupees is in his packet, what has been given by A, isn't it? So he gives that 10 rupees to B sorry, B gives that 10 rupees to A and buy one coconut and then drinks it. So before they reach the market, what happened? A has consumed 10 tender coconuts that B was having, and B has consumed all 10 coconuts what A was having. All the 10 plus 10, 20 tender coconuts have been consumed when they go to the market. And how much money they can give to the grandfather? They can give only rupees 10. Only 1 rupee 10 will be given. But how much they should have been given? A should give 10 into 10, 100 rupees. And B should give 10 into 10, 100 rupees. So totally they should give 200 rupees. But now in their hands, how much they have? They have only rupees 10. This is the magic of velocity of money with the value of money. So what happened when this money gets circulated? How many times it has got circulated? 20 times. So what is the quantity of money? 10. How many times it has got circulated? M into V, isn't it? 10 into how many times it has got circulated? 10 plus 10, 20 times it has got circulated. That is equal to what is the price of that commodity? Price of the commodity is 10 rupees. How many coconuts were there? 10 plus 10, 20. So 200 is equal to 200. This is a transaction equation. It is right. But they have only rupees 10. That's what it is said. That is the total quantity of money. That is M into V. Quantity of money into velocity. How many times it has got circulated is equal to the price of the commodity into T. This T is total transaction, that is total volume of goods and services bought and sold in the economy. Okay, this is consumed, that is they have consumed the tender coconuts. 10 coconuts they have consumed. Okay, so only this 10 rupee they have in their hands. So velocity of money plays a major role. At every transaction, the amount of goods and services produced in the economy, it is consumed, it is over. Production is creation of utility and consumption is destruction of utility. The use of that commodity is being used one time. Okay, so the quantity of money remains only the same. This is the diagrammatic explanation for quantity theory of money. That is figure A and figure B. Figure A shows the relationship between quantity of money and price level. Figure B shows the relationship between quantity of money and value of money. And remember the example, numerical example I have told you, when the quantity of money is doubled and tripled, what happens to the price level? To that much level, price level is also doubled and tripled, isn't it? When it is increases 4 times and price level also increases 4 times. So there what happens, this is a 45-degree line that shows the relationship between price and quantity of money. Price is the function of quantity of money. So how much quantity changes, accordingly price level also changes. If the quantity of money is more, price level is more. If the quantity of money is less, price level is less. This is general price level. So O x axis in this diagram, both A and B stands for quantity of money. In A, OY axis stands for price level, and here OY axis stands for value of money. So when the quantity of money is OM1, the price level is only OP1. When the quantity is doubled to OM1 to OM2, the price level is also doubled to OP1 to OP2. So when the quantity of money 4 times increases, that is M4. Price level also increases 4 times, that is OP4. Yes, this is a direct relation between price and quantity of money. When quantity of money increases, price level also increases. When quantity of money is decreased, price level also decreases. Part B stands for relationship between quantity of money and value of money. Value of money is nothing but inverse of the price level. 1 by P1. 1 by P is value of money. If P stands for price level, 1 by P stands for value of money. So when the quantity of money is OM1, then what is the value of money? That is 1 by P1. The measurement will be the same as it was like P4. isn't it? So when here in this axis what is said, P4 is when the quantity of money is M4, but inverse of it will be 1 by P1 when the quantity of money is M1. So when quantity of money is increases, value of money gets 1/2 of it. Value of money comes down. When quantity of money increases, value of money comes down. When the quantity of money increases to M2 to M4, 4 times it increases, but value of money comes down that much, 4 times it comes down. Okay, so 1 by P stands for value of money. Okay, when quantity of money is less, this value of money is more. When quantity of money is more, value of money is less. This shows the inverse relationship between value of money and the quantity of money. So 1 by P, this curve 1 by P is equal to function of M. This one is P is equal to f of M.